Hi, Jules.
Hi, Kat. How are you?
The modern technology is against us.
Yes, indeed.
They want an analog meeting.
Yeah, we need to be in the same room somewhere, don't we?
Yeah. So I think we're online. Are there any guests?
Okay.
So, hi, everybody. Please write in the comments. Ah, okay. Hey, Jules, how was your afternoon?
Good. Good. I had to take a break to go and get my son,
Yeah, the super dads
Manny, super dads and mums.
and mums. And how was the school day today?
Sorry, what was that again? Say again, Kat?
How was his school day today?
It was good. It was good. He's got a sore foot. So they went on a walk around London to look at some street art,
Oh,
but he couldn't go.
oh,
So I had to take him around in the car
okay.
after school.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
And you saw some beautiful street art?
Mm. Where we live in London, there's some amazing street art. Yeah, very close to where we live. So the children are doing a project about street art at school at the moment.
Great.
So that
Ah,
was good. That was inspiring.
mm-hmm.
Um, what about you? Did you make much progress?
Yes, it took me hours to write the horn section. And
Right.
you know what? While learning, I always did it different as my teacher wanted me
Yeah.
to do. And today, when I sat at our horn section, all his rules came to my head and helped me to
Okay.
manage to do it.
And what are his basic rules?
Now, he said to leave out the thirds if I have the possibility, and to go with the voice or go with the
Yeah.
melody and write the melody of the highest horn first.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
and to
interesting.
write it in one system and then separate it.
Okay. But leave out the thirds.
Yeah, if you have the possibility and if you can use
Yeah.
the sevenths.
Yeah. That's
You learned
interesting.
that?
Well, no, I've never learned how to do horn arrangements, but the guy I share an office with in London
Mm-hmm.
um, has been playing guitar with Brian Ferry,
Mm-hmm.
and he was telling me that when Brian Ferry, all the songs that he composed on piano, he never ever uses a third when he
Okay.
plays the piano.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always an ambiguity in his songs of whether they're major or minor,
Yes.
which I find very interesting.
Yeah. Ah, I see. My old drummer, I wrote the Amsterdam session with. He's online. Hi,
Yeah.
Riyad and
Hi, Riyadh.
Caroline. Yay, you're online too.
Hi, Colleen.
He's a film composer and he writes big film scores. So, Riyad,
Right.
did you learn how to write horn sections? Write it in the comments. How do you work?
Is Riyadh the guy that you sweated with
Yes.
in
Yeah,
Amsterdam?
he's the guy.
Yeah, I've seen the video
The Arab
of
connection.
you both with your underwear on.
But you can't believe it, man. It was over 30 degrees
Yeah, I can't believe.
and
Yeah,
no air condition.
no.
Yeah. What did he
Sounds
write?
like I have a car which has got no air conditioning, and it seems fine in the winter, and every summer comes along, and I just want to get out and walk.
Yeah. Because it's too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Ria just wrote he didn't learn anything. Okay. But I think he was born with it. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So, what did we do this afternoon? I wrote the horns and you worked on a mix.
Yeah. I worked on a second verse of a song that we had one verse of yesterday. So that's coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping to do a little mix of what you sent me over this afternoon. So I'll do that later on today.
Yeah.
So your horn section, how many instruments have you done it for?
I started with 4, but 3 were better. So I eliminated 1. I have a trumpet, an alto sax, and what is posaune? And the low one, a trombone, and a trombone. Yeah.
Right, good.
Because there were so many sounds of the guitar and the little pieces, I found it too much to add 4 horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
So shall we play the new song version to the audience?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin? Father, my father. This is the song we played yesterday, but with a second verse and our duet. It takes a moment. But the horns are in the other song. This is the song without the horns. Maria is asking. Again, problems. I thought we had them all yesterday. There's no problems left. My father, why didn't you come? With us, California's waiting. My brother, your son is waiting. You tell me you're a happy man. You don't have to go nowhere, no place, no land is as beautiful as the ground you touch, the spot you're on, the people you love. My father, why didn't you stay? My sisters, my mothers were waiting, the waiting go away. You tell me you're a happy man. You like to travel the world, each city, each land is as beautiful as the next one ahead. New ground to touch, new adventures to get. The universe is under cover of everything, of everything.
My mother, why did you go die on us? California dreaming, repeating, your song is still playing. My father, he misses you. He still wishes you'd help him. Nudge him, soothe him to remember that he's not alone. My mother, why didn't you go? You only have one chance to nail it. Life's nothing to it. They tell me you're much happier now. You like to think of yourself as grown up. Foo-foo. They tell me that you don't regret. The universe is under cover of everything. Of everything. The universe is under cover of everything. Of everything.
Love it so much.
Good. I mean, it
Yeah.
feels as if it should. It would be quite nice to have quite a, quite an arranged brass or even string section, or maybe both within it. Yeah, it feels as if it needs to just get richer.
At the end.
Well, I even thought about it. Yeah, even when the drums come in, it can begin to sort of. It feels as if it needs to grow and go somewhere. And then at the minute there's just a big long third verse.
You feel? I find it so
Yeah.
short.
No. I mean, it's what 3.5 minutes, isn't it?
I didn't check the time.
Yeah, something like that. So, but I'm not thinking of the length of it. I'm thinking of just the scope of it. It feels like a good start, but it feels to me as if it could get quite big, almost like orchestrally.
And I gave the wrong information. The horn section is here at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I only created it for 8 bars or 10 bars.
Yeah.
Do you think it should start earlier?
I don't know. It feels as if it could, listening back to it there, it feels as if it could go very rich.
Yeah.
But it also feels as if, it feels like a very early stage to be playing it to anybody. because it's only
That
a scrap of a thing. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, but that's the concept of the session tapes.
Right.
Not to show the perfect thing, but to show the process.
Yeah.
So anyone who's watching and listening knows that we're in the middle of somewhere.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. I think we have two ways just to make it more epic, or your first idea to leave it small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to leave
Perhaps
it
we have to
small
check it out. Yeah.
is easier.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, what about the other one? Do you have a new
No,
sort of version of it? No.
no. I just worked
Okay.
on the horns.
Okay.
I'm not as fast as you.
No, well, I've been very slow this afternoon.
Yeah?
Yeah. So.
I got some general question.
Mhm.
Do you separate in your head if you write a song as a song or something for a score, a theater score, a film score? I hope you understand my question.
I don't quite understand it. No.
Is it a different thinking which instruments to use and how to arrange a song? If you know it's just a song or if it's connecting to something else, to a play, to a dance?
Well, a few years ago, I mean, most of my work has been making music for theatre and dance over the years. But a few years ago, I decided that I wanted just to write songs. So whenever an opportunity came up to make some music for a dance company or a theatre company, I would try my best to convince them that what they needed was songs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know, my experience of composing songs for theatre is quite varied. You know, if I'm working at the Globe, Shakespeare's Globe Theatre in London, often I'm with a cast of maybe 15 or 20 performers, and it has to be able to, the song has to be able to resonate acoustically in the space, and often the words of the song, the lyrics of the song are already written. They're either in the play or they've been written by they're either Shakespeare's words or the playwright's words, another playwright's words. And at the Globe, it's very much about working with instruments that literally can be heard, because you're not allowed to use any electricity there, so you can't use any electric instruments. So, but it's a beautiful. I don't know if you've ever been there before.
No, never.
It's an amazing space. If you ever come to London, I'll take you down. But yeah, the capacity of the place is about 1,500 people.
Really, that big?
Yeah, but it's really small. People are packed up high, and it's in the round. So it's an amazing space for traditionally Uh, the traditional instruments that you would use in there would be drums and brass because they're loud instruments.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really interesting space also for using stringed instruments as well because it's made of wood. So it tends to resonate quite
Mm-hmm.
nicely. But what about your experience of writing for theatre?
I only did it once, and I had to write the whole score. And
And did you
the
score it
director,
out?
no, the director wanted songs. It was a really, she wanted rough songs.
Was you
And
performing?
yeah, she wanted me to perform. And then I wrote for voice, electric guitar, and drums. I had drum
Okay.
playbacks, and I performed alone with
Okay.
guitar. It was a little bit punk,
Yeah.
rock, garage
It
style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And
Yeah,
when I
it's
did the new,
it's often easier if you are performing as well as a
yeah,
writer.
yeah,
What's more tricky is when you have to write something that's given over to
yeah,
other musicians or singers.
yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. It's fun for me working with a big ensemble
Mm-hmm.
because you can obviously work with harmony in a
Mm,
way, and you can work with a cappella song, which is also quite lovely in theatre.
yes. And are they good
Yeah,
singers?
often, yeah. I mean, actors tend to be multi-talented. They can ride horses. They can they can sing. They can usually play musical instruments these days. So yeah, actors are fun to work with. I mean, dancers are also amazing to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I find, yeah,
And tell me, how was it to write an opera? Because last year you wrote an opera, The Lost Thing.
yeah. It was great. You know, I'm not a big fan of opera,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and um, I find the whole world of opera, certainly here in London, of the big opera houses. We were doing at the Royal Opera House, and it's almost like a different world to be working
Mm.
within.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the work that I do, and I'm sure you do as well, is we get in there and we try and make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this was you had to deliver the score,
Mm-hmm.
months in advance,
Okay.
almost as a finished piece. Um, I found that very difficult. You to be able to have to deliver a score before you knew who the singers were.
Mm-hmm.
I find a little bit tricky because
Mm-hmm.
often, depending on who's singing, I'll change the music to
Mm-hmm.
suit them. But it was really interesting to work with different types of voices, to work with operatic voices. Is like such is an interesting challenge, and I really enjoyed it. It was really good. So it was a small scale opera for about 7 or 8 singers
Okay.
and an orchestral group of about 15. So it was
Oh,
quite
it's
small
smaller.
scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And the
but
story
still,
was a youth book. Oh,
the story was written by an Australian writer called
okay.
Sean Tan. It's a picture book called The Lost Thing.
A picture
Beauti-
book. Oh.
Yeah, it's like a children's picture book. Yeah, it's beautiful actually. Um, yeah, it's so yeah, that was a real experience for me to do that. And I don't have it here, but the wonderful thing is that at the end they give you the score, which was this huge thing this size,
Yeah.
hundreds of pages, and I was
And how
excited to
many
get that.
months did it take you?
Well, I was working on it for a couple of years,
Okay.
but not full time. But there was just something lovely about getting a full vocal and orchestral score on paper in a book, and it felt as if this is something I've never had before.
Yeah.
I have tips and records and CDs, but never a book. And this
Score.
might be discovered by somebody in 500 years, and they'll go, "Oh, I wonder what this sounds like."
You know what?
So that was fun.
I'm learning how to write notes with Sibelius.
Yeah,
It's the program, and
yeah.
I
Well,
feel
Sibelius has been.
as you feel when I had my first horn section written down and
Yeah,
printed. It was
yeah.
2 pages or 3 pages.
It's such a triumph, isn't it? When you can give it these pieces of paper to people and they can actually bring it to life.
Yeah.
That's good. So, but it
And
was
did you
interesting for
conduct
me.
it?
No, I didn't. That was the other thing. To be working with a conductor was just a brilliant privilege as well. And he sort of bridged my world with the world of the opera. I mean, it was particularly interesting because I had, at the same time, I was working with the Bulgarian women, the
The
in
choir.
Sofia, yeah,
Yeah.
and of course their singing style is almost the polar opposite of sort of Western operatic voices. There's a sort of no vibrato whatsoever with
Yeah.
them. It's just the pure note, and um, so it was just really interesting to be working on those two things at the same time, because my own voice is much more connected with the Bulgarians.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I do open throat singing or anything like that. It's just, I'm more interested in singing notes without vibrato. Um, so anyway,
Yeah, that's why so many people doesn't like opera because of the way they are singing.
hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was an interesting thing for the opera singers that I was working for. Of course, were just like really delighted to be working with a composer who wanted to work with them, because opera singers are more often than not told what to sing,
Yes.
what to wear,
Yeah.
how to die,
Yeah.
and how to get off stage as quickly as possible. There's no sense of collaboration, and for opera singers to be working with a composer who wanted to, like, mold the music to suit their voices or their interests or their personality, was quite a novelty for them.
Okay.
So the thing at the end of the day, I did feel that the world of operas. I mean, it may well be different in Germany, and it may well be different with smaller opera companies, but with the Grand Royal Opera House in London, it was like a different world entirely to the world that I exist in. And we tried to bridge it, but there's a
Yes.
lot more work that needs to be done to really
Yeah.
to really join those worlds. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I studied opera directing in Hamburg, I had a lot of lessons at the Hamburg Opera.
Did you?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know
because
how a big
you've
house work.
right. You've directed. Have you directed opera quite a lot then?
No, I studied it. I have a
Studied
diploma,
direction. Okay. Yeah.
but I don't know if I would like to work at a big house
Yeah.
because I find it so annoying. Very often, all the parts work against each other.
I know. Yeah, it's a big machine.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of energy how to run this machine,
Yeah,
and you lose that for the creativity.
yeah. And it's very difficult to break the rules.
Yes.
It's quite difficult to do things which are not normal.
Hmm.
There was one section of the Lost Thing where I wanted all the music to stop and for the audience just to listen to a recording of the rainforest, the Amazonian
Hmm.
rainforest, for 3 or 4 minutes, and that was, you know, they said that wasn't possible. I was arguing that at this moment in the piece, it was important for the music to stop and for the
Hmm.
audience to listen to a different type of music.
Hmm.
But that was like too radical for them. They
Yeah.
didn't like that. So anyway,
No, I think at the opera they didn't like silence,
yeah,
and just to listen to silence or to silent sing.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is very surprising to me
Yeah.
because, well, you know, silence is such a strong musical choice.
Yes.
But there you go.
Yeah, I think the silence makes the music. The silent spots in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for our songs, are we silent enough?
Um,
What do you think?
well, there was a moment, in the song that we've just listened to. I mean, there are moments of stillness which I think are very important.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, we're not silent enough, clearly, because maybe we could introduce a bit more silence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to the audience, are there any questions? Write it in the comments. It takes some seconds. No, I don't think so. So how do we go on, Jules?
Yeah, what's the plan? Because
I wanted to write a third verse to the
did you?
Father, my Father. Yeah,
Okay,
I think and try
well
that
then do it.
tonight. Yeah,
Do it.
yeah.
I think there's also something about. I had thought that that our voices could join for the third verse.
Mm-hmm.
That seems quite a clear opportunity. Do you think
Yeah.
it needs? Do you think it needs? So what you've written is an 8-bar brass instrumental. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just to give
And
space or to leave space for vocals.
okay, so there would be vocals over the top of it, or would it?
Perhaps. Perhaps. I wanted to
Oh,
leave the opportunity.
can you play the Sibelius for me just to listen to?
I don't know if it's possible. I have to ask Kevin. 1 second. Kevin, ist das möglich, dass ich meinen Sibelius hier auf dem Rechner abspiele? Hört man das dann? Das kannst du nicht abspielen, wenn du das Programm nicht hast. I try to open it and play it through my microphone.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. So.
Kat, the version that you've sent me is obviously a newer version of Sibelius than I've got.
Okay.
So let me see what version I've got.
I think I have 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'm 6. So would you mind, if you get a minute, sending me that as a Sibelius 6 score?
Where can I do that?
I think
It's bearbeiten.
I think you can export it as an older version.
Yeah. Speichern als. I tried. I have a small version of Sibelius. I think I'm
Right.
not.
I think it
I
must
have
be
to find
7
out.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just need you to send me as a Sibelius 6. But you
Yeah,
don't need to
I
do
try
it
to.
now.
No, I find it out.
Yeah.
Just let's see if you can hear something. Yeah. No, it's not possible. Bitte? Nee, man hört gar nichts. No, I think it's not playing.
Okay, not to worry.
Oh. No. The modern technique. I'm sorry, Jules.
That's fine. So anyway, what we should do is you work on your third verse
Yes.
and send it over to me, and I'll try and I will I'll just harmonize to what you sound,
Mm-hmm.
and then that'll be that one. I mean, we need to record this, obviously,
Yes.
and I'd love to record it with a real band
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, where I'm just singing. So
So you have to come to Hamburg.
I will come to Hamburg, yeah,
But there's a quarantine.
that's fine. We can spend 10 days working on it. Yeah, I'd love to come to Hamburg. And we can go to a special room and record it with a group of brass players and a drummer, guitar
Yes.
player.
Yes.
Yeah.
My engineer, Linda, is working at a lovely studio, one of the
Okay.
bigger studios in Hamburg.
Brilliant.
So,
And then the other song, what should we do with it? It feels more like something that needs to be constructed as a mix.
yes. Perhaps it would be great to give just the stems to Linda and let's see what she's doing. She's very
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But
If
you've
you don't
given me,
mind.
yeah, no, that's absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm.
So you sent the stems over today,
Yes.
so I've got those. So I'll put them together in some sort of shape tonight. Did you do another? Did you do any more work on getting to the end of the song?
Yeah, I wrote the second verse I sent
Okay.
you
Yeah.
and placed it near the end.
Okay.
Perhaps shall we play the old version from yesterday to the audience for the people who
Yeah, for
weren't
sure.
there yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked Kevin, die von gestern, die Version. Von meiner, mit dem Tunnel. It's just a rough
Baby, if
sketch.
I only could use the system.
Tell me what?
Baby, if I only could use the system.
Tell me what?
And spread love around the world. Yeah, spread love. To the tired and the lost ones, and the ones that shall be saved. From the catacombs of Paris to the banks of the riverbeds, floating under London to the tunnels in Palestine. If I only could use this system, you all shall be safe and sound in time. Baby, if I only could use the system.
Tell me what?
Baby, if I only could use the system.
Tell me what?
'Cause like a river's flowing, my love's growing. Beat, beat, skip a beat and pump.
It's such a crazy, crazy thing. Sounds like traffic, like city traffic. Those vocals. Yeah, I think it's really interesting that the calm sort of rolling piano, and then these interventions, these
Yes.
provocations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird and beautiful.
I hope you don't find it destroying.
No, I don't, not at all. I find it really intriguing. It's the opposite of safe.
And that's
You know,
how
when
we
you-
started.
Well, we
Do
did
you remember
start. Well, absolutely.
our first Zoom? And you said you're interested. What I mean was making the digital space unsafe.
Yeah. Well, I'm tired of people telling me to stay safe because I've spent 30 years trying to avoid the safe choices. So, and I think that's something that you've done quite brilliantly in this. I don't know how it'll end up, but you certainly haven't gone for the safe option. So that's good.
But it wasn't my aim to be intruding. I just asked myself, what can I add to this wonderful music?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
And we talked about the tunnels and the cities underneath the cities. Two worlds, two parallel worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
And I tried all the notes. I played the harmonies, and I sang all the notes from the scales, and I landed at a minor 3, a blues.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
it felt like no note fit. And I was like, okay, I have to follow.
Yeah, it's interesting that first intervention. It sounds to me like a car horn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sounds to me like traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, I'm sort of I'm really interested to try and try and mix it. I'm just listening. You can't hear what I'm listening to, but I've got it here on my system, trying to play around with it.
I don't know why I went there, but do you know Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah.
It's a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And have you heard this wonderful record, To Pimp a Butterfly?
Yeah.
Where he mixed fusion and jazz and Afro
Yeah,
and
yeah,
hip
yeah.
hop. Yeah,
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
yeah. It's just like as if a DJ starts to scratch and play samples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it might be that we need more people for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not just you and me. So
I see a question, Jules.
mm-hmm.
Caspar is asking, do you write your scores by hand or do you use a software?
I use software like you, Kat. I use Sibelius. You know, I mean, it depends. It depends what I'm scoring for. If I'm scoring for one instrument, I might do it by hand. But organizing things for more than 2 or 3 instruments, I find it a lot easier to work in Sibelius.
Okay. So you're not recording all the tracks and then write the note?
All right. Yeah. No. I tend to demo things myself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the only I can't really hear it unless I sort of create a demo of what I want to hear, and then I transcribe the demo
Yeah.
using Sibelius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's such a, as you know yourself, Kat, working with different instruments is such a skill in itself.
Yes. Yes.
And it's actually good to be able to play instruments, just to get a sense of what the possibilities are and what the terminology is. I do play brass. I played trumpet, and then I moved down
Okay.
to euphonium and played euphonium in the brass band. So
Wow.
I have some interest, some knowledge of how brass instruments work. But yeah, do you play instruments apart from piano?
Classical guitar,
Mm-hmm.
electric guitar, and I started with electric bass.
Yeah.
And I would love to learn how to play drums, but I couldn't find the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. We have a drum kit down in my little studio, and I'm trying to teach my son the basics of drumming. Not that I can play that well, but that's been fun teaching him.
Yes.
But I think there's something. I think there really is something to be said for having some knowledge of as many instruments as possible. It really helps you to score for violin if you've at least some knowledge of how a violin works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And similarly with woodwind and percussion and brass. Yeah. It's like to get in, I mean, particularly, coming at it, a lot of people learn how to compose music at school properly. And I think I'm a bit like you. I've learnt how to compose through 30 years of working.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning.
Mm.
So that comes with its advantages and disadvantages.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you never studied composing?
I studied at school, but no, I went to university in Belfast and did a degree in politics.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I got involved with the drama group, the drama society at university, and began, making music for their plays,
Okay.
and I enjoyed that. So, but I'd never really, I mean, most composition opportunities at the lower end of theatre, you don't have a budget to work
Yeah.
with more than yourself anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it's brilliant to have the opportunity to work with a bigger ensemble. But it's also quite scary as well.
Mm-hmm. If you're good enough, or if you write good enough things.
Yeah,
Or
but
what
it's
scares
also,
you?
I think sometimes I feel a little bit like a fraud that because I haven't studied composition formally at college, that I can't really call myself a composer. There's a part of me sits on my shoulder, reminding me, saying, you're not a composer. You're
Jules,
just
we all have it.
a maker upper. Yeah.
I have it all the times I start something new.
Yeah.
Even before we two met, I was like, oh, am I good enough? I'm meeting Jules Maxwell.
Right.
And
and I was the same.
And look what we created. Such beautiful music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of that going on, isn't it?
Yeah.
People scared and self-censoring themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually, even if I had no training, I have 30 years experience of making music for theatre and dance, and a huge variety of projects over the years, but I remember when you two were working with B.B. King. Do you remember years ago?
Yeah, I remember the film.
And he was very, very nervous.
Yeah, when he wrote "When Love Comes to Town."
Yeah. Because he was saying, I only know 2 chords.
Yeah.
So B.B. King sort of got that voice on his shoulder saying he's not good enough, So that's...
And Bono had it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. Even working with Lisa Gerard on in Dead Can Dance is a sort of scary thing because she's a massive sort of influence, and in my opinion, one of the great voices of her generation,
hmm,
and yet she also has a nervousness
yeah,
when she's working with me.
yeah,
She doesn't want to. Uh, None of us want to come across as not knowing what we're doing,
yeah,
and yet not knowing what you're doing is actually a really fertile place to be.
yes.
Yeah, it's
And
really
that's why I
interesting.
created the session tape, to get over my fear and to see what comes up when I have to work fast and do things I do not know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's a really interesting idea, and I find it. Yeah, I find it really surprising what we've ended up working on.
mm,
I mean, in a way, I thought we might work on something a bit more sort of poppy.
okay,
Um, but what we've worked on is something which actually is it feels quite intimate. And yeah, it's, it is interesting working really, really quickly. It's like even the lyrics that I was working on last night,
mm-hmm,
trying to map them onto your lyrics. Um, yeah, it was just flowing in a way that was surprising to me,
okay,
and that's a product of this collaboration, but it's also a product of my last weekend when I went to see my father,
yeah,
and just where I am at the moment. So it
yeah,
feels very, yeah, it feels like a record,
mm,
um, which is brilliant because that's what it should be, a record.
yeah,
This is a
yeah,
record of you and me working together
yeah,
for a couple of days, but it's also a record of this moment in my
yeah.
life
And mine, yeah,
and your life,
yeah,
and what more can we hope for
yes.
than just to create records of moments in our lives? So yeah, it'll be lovely to finish these two pieces
Yeah, we
and
do.
record them,
Yeah.
and then look back on them in years to come
Or we
on our
write more.
deathbed.
Oh no, Jules. Yeah. So we definitely have to talk tomorrow, perhaps, or
Yeah, let's talk tomorrow.
yeah.
Let's talk tomorrow at same time, 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Shall we? Is that good for
Yeah.
you? And
Well, let me
then,
think. Could it be 1 hour later?
yeah,
12 o'clock London time?
12 o'clock London.
Yeah, this would be
And
great.
yeah, if we can get the shape of this together, of these
Yes.
things,
Yes.
then we can talk about the next step.
Okay. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the last 2 days.
Yeah, it's
It's
been
such a
fun. Thank you
pleasure
for asking me.
meeting you
When do you start your next one?
at the end of June
Okay. And who are you
with a
working with?
soul band in Braunschweig.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I shall tune in to the restream, live
Yes.
stream video.
Yes.
with great interest.
Or if you want to add a track or a part,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I'd love to.
yeah. This would be great to connect whole Europe.
Mm. And do you have other ones set up then for the subsequent
Yes,
months?
in August, at the 10th of August, I meet Ina West. She's from Poland and
Right,
she's doing jazz techno.
right.
Jazz techno. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
great.
She's the
And I think,
girlfriend of my former drummer,
okay,
but I don't know her. We zoomed
okay,
once.
great. It would be nice to
And
get
the
a concert.
last,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry,
I was just going to say it'd be nice to get a concert together of all these collaborations.
yes, when the shh is over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would love to.
And the last one?
It's still free. It should
Okay,
be a guy from Australia, but his tour was rescheduled and he had to quit.
okay.
Yeah. So I'm free for
Good.
October.
Great. Okay. Well, listen,
Okay.
I'll speak to you tomorrow morning.
Speak to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you for the audience.
Yeah. Thank you, audience. And thank you, Kevin, for your technical support.
Yes. To the background. And thanks to Restream.
Yeah.
Jules,
Okay.
have a wonderful evening
Yeah, you too.
and we meet at
Catch you
12
later.
o'clock
All right.
tomorrow.
Speak to you then.
Okay.
Tschüss.
Tschüss, goodbye.
Bye.
Bin ich noch drin? Ha, ich bin noch drin. So, my goodbye to you all. Thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed the night. And see you at the end of June. Bye.